Think I'm Psychic, and You Can Be Too, by Natasha Rosewood. Chapter 1. What is a psychic anyway? Being psychic isn't easy. Ask any psychic. Blessed and cursed, shunned and revered, who in their right mind would choose this path? Not I, not consciously. It was as if the psychic fairy landed on me because I was walking around with a big psychic sign on my head, only visible from the sky. Or that's how it felt. In the not-so-distant past, psychics were branded with many labels: witch, witch doctor, fortune-teller, gypsy, or even less complimentary terms. Now, in this age of relative enlightenment, we are able to step out without quite as much fear of being ridiculed, disrespected, or burned to a crisp. Even the names we are called ring gentler: channel, spiritualist, clairvoyant, spiritual counselor, healer, lightworker, and of course psychic. But what does the word psychic actually mean? While the word psyche comes from the Greek meaning mind, according to New Webster's Dictionary and Thesaurus, the definition of psychic is being able to see and feel things of a non-physical nature. But how many times have you thought about an old friend and that person showed up on your doorstep the next day? Or you met someone for the first time and felt an unexplained delight or revulsion? Does that make you psychic? To a degree, yes. We all have it. We just pass it off as accidental. Isn't that a coincidence, we'll say? Or, oh, I just had a feeling. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. Although we do predict potential futures, the label fortune teller is not necessarily synonymous with psychic. I prefer spiritual healer, one who at least facilitates healing, a healing of the soul, the spirit, the mind, the emotions, and consequently sometimes the body. With help from above, I am also a guide, one who reassures, validates, breathes life into potentials that lie dormant, and sheds the light of deeper understanding. A few of my clients have called me Angel. Me? Angel? I don't think so, but I'm so happy I could help. Let's assume you would like to visit a psychic. How are you going to find the right one? Be very picky. You wouldn't just go to any old brain surgeon, would you? No. Well, psychics can also mess with your head. Some of them can be downright hazardous to your health. But how do you choose a good one? Unfortunately, there is no master's degree for psychic practitioners, not that I'm aware of at least, although I would like to introduce some measure of distinction into the psychic arena. Until there is a certificate on the practitioner's wall, we are forced to rely on the age-old referral system. Recommendations from family and friends. Once you have found a reputable psychic, feel free to ask questions like, how will you impart bad news if you see it? And what are your beliefs? Being a psychic, a good one at least, involves a lot more than sensing things before they happen. And yes, there are variations on the theme. Speaking only from my experience on both sides of the table, I have encountered the good, the not-so-bad, and the ugly psychics. The ugly psychics are those who will have no compunction in telling you really bad news and put the capper on it by declaring that your fate is decided before birth and there's nothing you can do to change it. While you sit there devastated, they will add insult to injury by pointing out, well, it's good you know about it now, so you can be prepared. Wrong. A client of mine came to me terrified. An ugly psychic had told her when she was 17 that she would not live a day past her 40th birthday. I worked very hard with the 45-year-old woman to assuage her fear of psychics by explaining the mechanics of reading energy, and not just why, but how her psychic had misread her. Susan is now one of my most avid psychic development students. The more fragile of us could have made that prediction a self-fulfilling prophecy, like a 21-year-old girl in England who committed suicide after a psychic told her she couldn't see anything good for the rest of her life. Now that is a really ugly psychic. The not-so-bad psychics are those whose perceptions are limited by their own traumatic histories and depressed psyches. They have not worked through their own painful pasts, spiritually or psychologically. Consequently, their interpretation of your energy may be limited, depressed, or disempowering. While their predictions might be quite accurate, there may be no spiritual wisdom within them, leaving you feeling unsettled, inadequate, downright doomed, or sucked dry. Yes, psychics can suck your energy too. Good psychics, on the other hand, will perceive you as an honored spark of the divine. They trust that you possess the intelligence and the good sense to find your highest path, given the variables you have to deal with, such as soul agreement, challenges, talents, personality, and karma. Even though you may not know on a conscious level at the time which direction to choose, a good psychic will encourage you to follow your own intuition, making you aware that what he/she is seeing for you is just one potential. Like a weather forecaster, many psychics base their predictions on the energy they see, feel, hear, or smell from the past up to the present, and then prognosticate the future from that information. But there may be other potentials that we miss, just like the weather, and therefore the outcome and the timing can also differ. A good psychic will also be compassionate in imparting bad news and give you A, an understanding of why it's happening, B, an indication of whether and how you can change it, or C, an idea of what it is to be learned from the experience. In the larger scheme of the universe, every experience is neither good nor bad. It is how we perceive it. An experience is just that, an experience, though some can hurt like hell at the time. A good psychic will give you the gift of encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment. You will leave the reading feeling as if you just received a big warm hug from your spirit guides, angels, or your deceased Aunt Ethel. Remember, no psychic is 100% correct, 100% of the time. According to statistics, even really good psychics average a 75% accuracy rate. That should mean that even on a good day, we are 25% inaccurate. Some of my clients, though, have validated 100% of my readings, while others could only vouch for between 50 and 75. If your outcome meshes with what a psychic has foreseen, great. If not, it means he or she misread the energy, or you, having been forewarned, chose to divert to another path, or it hasn't happened yet. Only you, the client, will know what does or does not come true. Curse or blessing, I do not own this psychic ability. I am merely the messenger. This channel that I am owns me and my soul. Apparently my soul chose it. Just what was I thinking before I came to this physical, densely mattered, emotional and egotistical plane? Why are people so fascinated by psychics? Well, and this is just my theory, it's because underneath their skepticism or their enthusiasm, they suspect, quite rightly, that they also have the gift. They might be scared of it, or they want it. Let's face it, the whole topic is intriguing. But what most inquirers want to find out is how and when did I know I was psychic? Every psychic will tell you a different story. Theirs, I'll tell you mine. Warning, subject matter may contain mind-illuminating content.